Religion trying to quench life. The law-keeping religion could not give life to the impotent man. When Christ enlivened this man with life, that religion persecuted him, trying to quench life, because he did it on the Sabbath. That religion cared for the keeping of his Sabbath at the sacrifice of the impotent man's rest. But Christ cared for the man's rest at the sacrifice of their Sabbath keeping. This surely offended that religion. In principle, the situation of today's religion is the same. The religious people still care for their religious rituals at the sacrifice of people's life matters. The Lord is still the same, caring at any cost for people's life matters at the sacrifice of all religious rituals. This is why we who have been enlivened by Christ are opposed and persecuted by the people who cling to their religious rituals. The Son equal with the Father in giving life and executing judgment. The Son being equal with the Father. The religious Jews persecuted Jesus because on their Sabbath he worked to enliven the impotent man. Jesus answered them, "My Father is working until now, and I am working." In their religious concept, they were resting in keeping their Sabbath, but they did not know that there was no rest for the Father and the Son as long as the poor sinners were not saved. While they were resting in keeping their Sabbath, the Father and the Son were still working that the sinners might receive life and have rest. This not only offended the religious Jews, but also caused them to consider that Jesus was blaspheming, because according to their concept, he not only broke the Sabbath, but also called God his own Father, making himself equal with God. In their consideration, that was a blasphemy to God. Yet it was this blaspheming one who enlivened the impotent man. His enlivening of that man testifies that he is equal with God the Father in giving life to people. Both the Father and the Son working for redemption and building. Although God's work in creation was finished, the Father and the Son were still working for redemption and building. The religious Jews kept the Sabbath of creation. They did not know that because of man's fall, the rest of that Sabbath was broken. Neither did they know that the Father and the Son were still working for fallen man's redemption in order to fulfill God's original purpose, which is the building of God's eternal habitation. What God did was the old creation. What the Father and the Son are doing is the new creation through redemption for God's building. This work includes the Son's life-giving, which is manifested in this case. In this matter, the Father and the Son are one. Whatever the Father wants to do in the matter of life-giving, the Son does it accordingly. The Son of God giving life to the dead. The Son gives life to the dead. Verse 21 says, "For as the Father raises the dead and gives them life, so also the Son gives life to whom he wills." In verse 24, we see that whoever hears the word of the Son and believes in him who sent him has eternal life and has passed out of death into life. Verse 25 says, "Truly, truly, I say to you, an hour is coming and now is, when the dead shall hear the voice of the Son of God, and those who hear shall live." The dead persons mentioned in these words are not those who are buried in their graves, but the living dead ones. They are not dead physically, but according to Ephesians chapter 2 verse 1 to 5 and Colossians chapter 2 verse 13, are dead in their spirit. In the eyes of the Lord, all of the people living on earth are dead in their spirit. The phrase "an hour is coming and now is" refers to the very time when the Lord spoke these words. Many at that time heard his living words and consequently were made alive. Hence, "shall live" in these words means to be alive in their spirit. It is not the resurrection in the physical body, or as is mentioned in verses 28 and 29. For 20 centuries, from the time that the Lord spoke these words until the present, thousands and thousands of people have heard the living voice of the Son of God and have been enlivened with life. We also have heard the living word of the Lord and have been made alive. We also were the impotent persons under the 5 porches, for we were blind, lame, and withered. In short, we were dead. Then the Lord came to visit us, and we heard the living word of the gospel that enlivened us and made us alive. We have truly passed out of death and have entered into life. In the matter of life, the Son is the same as the Father. As the Father has life in himself, so he gave to the Son to have life in himself. Both the Father and the Son have life in themselves, so the Son can and does enliven people with life as the Father desires. In life's enlivening, the Son is truly one with the Father, the Son of Man executing judgment over the unbelieving ones. The Son of Man will execute judgment over all the unbelieving ones. As the Son of God, the Lord can give life, and as the Son of Man, he can execute judgment. Since he is a man, he is fully qualified to judge men. Acts chapter 17 verse 31 says that God will judge the world by that man Jesus, whom he had ordained. Romans chapter 2 verse 16 says, God shall judge the secrets of man by Jesus Christ. 2 Timothy chapter 4 verse 1 says, Jesus Christ shall judge the quick and the dead. The Father gave him authority to execute judgment because he is the Son of Man. And the Father gave all judgment to the Son, that all may honor the Son even as they honor the Father. The Son will judge justly according to the Father's will. He is one with the Father in the matter of life and living. He is also one with him in the matter of judgment. 2 kinds of resurrection. Let us read verses 28 and 29. Do not marvel at this, for an hour is coming in which all who are in the tombs shall hear his voice and shall come forth. Those who have done the good to the resurrection of life, and those who have done the evil to the resurrection of judgment. All of the physically dead people who have been buried in graves will be resurrected. Please note the difference between these two verses and verses 25. In verse 25, the dead shall hear his voice, but in verse 28, all who are in the tombs shall hear his voice. Those who are in the tombs are different from those who are dead. Verse 25 refers to the dead living on the earth. Verse 28 refers to the dead buried in the earth. Those buried in their graves shall be resurrected at the Lord's second coming.